handheld emulation and game streaming on devices like this Ion Odin Lite and the Logitech G Cloud. They all owe their success to this guy. Hey everybody, it's Chris from Family Geekery, and today we're going to be taking a look at this Shield portable handheld gaming device from 2013. I just recently picked this up from a local person, and it was all complete in the box. And we're going to see today how it performs despite being so old. We're going to test it out playing some native Android games, and I'm not too optimistic on that. We're going to test it out with some game streaming, and we're going to test it out with some retro emulation. So let's go ahead and open this guy up. Man, I wish we could make out the price that it was selling at GameStop. It looks like either $199 or $99. It's just all faded out. So inside the box was the original charger, and that's kind of neat. It's got NVIDIA written on the side of it. The original charging cable, which also has a logo on it for this device, but it is a little bit frayed in here, but it still works. And the instruction manual and warranty card and everything, I don't think this has ever been opened up. I opened it up and the creases on the stuff looks like it's never been unfolded. And then of course the handheld device itself, and it's a little scuffed up, this one, but it's not too bad. The rubber grips on it aren't tacky or sticky or anything yet, so that's good. A couple more years that'll probably be a different feel, but this is a beefy device. It is, it's not light, but it actually does feel good in the hands. The triggers and everything are good. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and check it out. So this may be a shorter video than I thought. So I charged it up overnight, and I was half expecting to unplug the cable and have the thing die out. I was guessing the internal batteries would be shot, but this thing still holds a charge, and it's been unplugged for a while, and the battery's still running, so we'll have to see how well that works. I'm not sure what it would take to open up and change out those batteries, but if I don't have to do it, it's perfect. But I was really expecting, since this is running such an old version of Android, I was expecting it to feel like one of those cheap Walmart Android tablets. But the screen, it looks great, and the responsiveness of it, you know, for its age, you know, these icons, they definitely bring back some old memories of old Android. This is running Android 5. But the responsiveness of, you know, flipping through pages and stuff and launching apps is actually pretty good. So it's got some hardware buttons on here. It's got a home button and a back button. It's got maybe a volume button. Yep. And then it gives you a plus and minus. And then some kind of a play button. And then this NVIDIA button here launches the NVIDIA shop, the whole app ecosystem for the NVIDIA stuff. And we're going to see if that's still live. I don't have anything hooked up as far as network yet, but we'll go ahead and hook that up. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how well it works in the touchscreen. I was, again, expecting it to feel pretty cruddy, but it actually feels pretty nice. So let's go ahead and get some internet hooked up on it and see if any of this stuff still works. So this may be a shorter video than I thought. I entered my Wi-Fi settings. I got the internet, no problem. It opened up the App Store. It wants me to log in with the Google account, which is all good. Got to log in with the Google account to get anything from the App Store. But after I put in the username and password, I get to this screen here that says, do you want to add this phone's phone number to your Google account? And obviously this isn't a phone. Maybe it's got a SIM card in there. Maybe it looks like a phone, of course. But none of these options work. The more options, the skip or the yes I'm in, I can't get any of them to work either by tapping. I can't get them to work with the included little cursor here. Just can't get past the screen. And no matter how I try, if I go into just the regular Android settings and try to add a Google account, it comes to the same screen. I've tried multiple Google accounts and it's just not working. So I may try a couple more things, may try side loading some apps on there, but I really wanted to see what this thing could pull from the App Store. But let's try a couple more tricks. Alright, so I've had to play around with this thing for a while, but I ended up just going into the store, and instead of logging into a Google account, I just created a Google account, which went through all the stupid steps of creating a Google account and verifying it with a phone number and all that stuff. but it never asked me to add this phone number to my Google account. So I actually got into the store, and when I first got in, it said, can't find anything. I had to go into the settings and clear the cache and dump all the temporary files and stuff, and it actually got me to this screen here. Now this is obviously only showing a few things because this is not the normal store that you think of when you go to an Android store now. This is probably only showing things that might be compatible with something this old. So a lot of things that I searched for weren't even in there. So I tried to search for PS Play, which I was going to try to use to stream off my PlayStation, and it was not there. So I'm not sure if that's just not compatible with Android 5. But I did download a game, and I downloaded the Stumble Guys here. So it actually downloaded and installed. I haven't tried it out yet. Let's go ahead and see what happens. So it looks like it's actually working, and it's actually noticed that it needed an update. It needed to download some files, so it's downloading those. So I'll let that happen, and then we'll see if we can play a game. And check it out. Looks like it's going to work. So let me see. I've never played this game before, and it's obviously a somewhat recent game. So it's nice that they still allow, these modern games to be compatible with older hardware. And I'm not sure what I'm doing. Alright, let's go. Now I may have spoke too soon because it's a little laggy. But now that all the other people are gone, I can actually control it. Check it out. Alright, so I obviously don't know what I'm doing, but it did play. It was a little laggy there at the beginning, and again, I've never played this before, so maybe it's like that for every device. This has the Tegra 4 processor in it, which should still be somewhat, I wouldn't say strong, but somewhat capable today. So maybe it's just a lag thing through the server itself. So let's go ahead and get out of this game, and I'll show you what else I got set up. So I did download RetroArch right from their website and installed it. And I just added a couple cores to it, including the PlayStation core, just to see how well PlayStation worked on this. And I always test out my favorite game, Driver. One of my favorite games from the PS1 days. And this is great. This is, it's a 5-inch screen, but obviously it's not using the full screen because this is 4x3. But this is just every bit as enjoyable as playing it on, any other retro handheld today. The screen looks great. The controls are great. So I'm going to consider this a win. Just, having this device and be able to play something like this on the road. I don't need any of that other Google Play type stuff. I don't need anything modern. This is good enough. Yeah. So let's jump out of this and let's load up something different. Alright, so if PlayStation 1 plays, then you know for sure that most all the other 8-bit, 16-bit stuff's going to work fine. So little Nintendo, little Sega Genesis, all that good stuff, Game Boy Advance probably, all that's going to run on here just fine. And that's one of the great things about RetroArch is that it lets you take old devices like this and still get some good use out of them. And still get first place. Now, one thing to note, I did use this volume button here to adjust the volume, but it did not adjust the volume of this content. So I'm not sure what it's adjusting the volume of, but I did have to go into settings and then go into the different volume mixer type thing, and I turned the volume way down because it was really loud and it sounded really good. These forward-facing stereo speakers, they sounded really nice. So that's great screen, great speakers, great controls. I mean, if this thing was made today, if NVIDIA made one of these today, I'm sure they'd do a great job. And they'd be competing with a lot of, a much bigger pool of devices today, but I would hope that they could make something pretty nice. Now, unfortunately, it looks like when I hit the NVIDIA button here, it just never gets to their server. They must have shut down this shop because there's just nothing in here, cannot connect to NVIDIA servers. So that's, I wonder if it's the same on like the Nintendo or the NVIDIA Shield TV or the NVIDIA Shield tablet that they made. I would hope that the TV, they still sell that in the store, so I would hope that would still work. But as far as this device, it looks like it's RetroArch only. Alright, so the last thing I wanted to try was to hook this up to a monitor, and there is a mini HDMI port in the back. So if you got the right cable or the right converter, just hook it up, and I've got it set up to this portable monitor, and it works right away. So they actually have ways that you can cast this to a TV, which may work. I'm not sure, I didn't test it out, but having the right cable and just hooking it up HDMI, that's always easier anyways. Now the bigger you blow this thing up, the worse it's going to look on a game like this, but of course I haven't gone into the settings and done any kind of over scanning or over converting for the video, but I just wanted to see if it worked, and it works great. So overall, I honestly went into testing this thing out kind of expecting the worst, and some of the things that I expected were actually the case. As far as the aging Android version, that's always going to be a problem, but the hardware itself was good. I've got no problems with that. The speakers sound great. The screen, for what it is for a portable device, it looks great, and of course the controls are good. So you're going to put this up against something like this type of device nowadays, where you're going to put a phone in it, which makes a lot of sense because your phone's always upgrading, and you can upgrade the device without having to worry about the rest of the hardware. So this is always an option. And then of course these type of options are decent also, but the controls on this, I would say, are more comparable to something full size like this, and these things, they just look ridiculous and janky. So a device like this is going to be nicer, but of course this thing, when it came out, cost like $300 as opposed to something like this costing in the $40 to $50 range today. So I guess if you got one of these, or if you find one of these, you can download RetroArch, load it up with a bunch of your favorite games, and have some kind of portable thing on the go. I've been using this whole time without plugging it into power, and it's been working fine, so I'm kind of happy about that part. That was the one thing I was kind of worried about, was the batteries, and they seem to be working fine. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you have any questions about this device, or see if you want me to test something out, go ahead and drop those down in the comments below. If you like this, if you got anything out of it, then I appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to see more crazy stuff like this, check out the rest of the channel, and subscribe if you want to. That's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you, as always, for watching, and until next time, peace out and geek out.